All right, we're heading out in the bush. We got some snacks, obviously. My old DIY kukri, I'll provide the card up top for that. The new BeaverCraft Skrama 240, give that a smack around. And then the KKR1 kukri from BeaverCraft. Let's go. All right, just at my favorite spot and heading back to do a little chop test. We've got I have been using my old kukri. It was a DIY homemade job, and it's been working rather well. But we have had two new products come into our lineup, and the Varusteleka Skrama 240, as well as the BeaverCraft KKR1 kukri. So we're gonna go back into the woods here and do a little chop test. Haven't done one of those for some time, and we'll give it a go. This is actually back where I have my little call it a camp, if you were, lean-to shelter. I do a lot of hunting back in here as well. But we'll head back in here, find something to chop. We're kind of on location here. Pop off my bag. There's an old apple tree that could have used some pruning some time ago, but we'll pull out our tools. Perfect. Okay, in order of when I received these. First of all, the BeaverCraft Skrama 240. I'll provide the link up top here. So, nice hard plastic case inside a beautiful leather sheath. Very well constructed. And this vine here is kind of a wild grapevine, and we'll just see how it works as a chopper with that. With these, this is actually climbed up there probably about 50 feet into that tree, kind of choking it off, but that's something that I won't be doing anymore. Lots of weight, super sharp, and single pass through 1-inch material. These three are pretty tightly packed together, so some of these aren't going to make it anyways. I don't know about this one here. Either one of these would be good, and you can just feel it, the weight of it really wanting to chop through with ease here. I'll get a closer picture. Okay, conveniently my microphone quit working, but the BeaverCraft Skrama making quick work of this green 2-inch piece of maple and knocks it down with ease. Like, this is such a chopper. I love how it feels in the hand. With these, carves it right through, partial swing, and easily cuts that wood. Now I would have cut this right through, but the springy ash of the tree is not helping cut through it, but you can see on the few strokes of cut all the way through. taking it out of the base in only a few chops. Front side, back side, and it cuts it through with ease. Super clean. You can see how clean that is. Now, when you kind of choke up, again, super sharp. These are not examples of feathers at all, but just pulling off the bark really quickly. But you can see I'm able to choke up on the knife and then slow down and use that sharpened 2 inches at the bottom. Now this is green maple, but had it been dry, here's a free hand chop. I'm just working around the branch, quartering it, and then snaps off easy. And that's hard to do, holding it up. It's not anchored in any way. Here's another sapling again, probably an inch and a half. Trying to get the whole picture in there. Really liking how it's, the edge is still standing up super well. But we'll put that one away for now. And I think we try the Kukri KKR1. Super nice, two little button release. Cowhide leather sheath. 3/32 blade. Super much lighter than the BeaverCraft Skrama. Forward heavy. Cutting some of the same vine as I did months before. It's got a wild grapevine. Again, just some of the pieces I just cut off before, holding against the tree. And again, one stroke chops his piece, very sharp edge. Have to move the camera again. These trees are all clustered very, very tightly together, so this will just allow any one of them to do a little better, get away from the sunlight. Super slicey, able to cut off those branches with ease. I'm feeling the rougher edge of the metal and that forward and in the back beak biting into my pinky. I've got a large hand and it wants to pull forwards, and I feel that beak, that ramp, kind of grab or bite my pinky. It has that rough edge, almost like stamped metal. Perhaps if it was wrapped or if I had gloves on. This is about an inch and a half. Great first bite. And again, very slicey. Able to process this. This would be a great camp knife. Certainly recommend it with gloves for hard chopping. We're going to use this branch, take it back to the camp probably, and use it for something, pod hanger or something around the camp. But pretty slicey, pretty nimble in the hand. You can just imagine if this was bamboo or anything very green, it would process it up very quickly. Being much lighter than the Varusteleka, but I am still finding it bothering my hand a little bit. Now I don't have a paracord wrap on that handle. That could be something that kind of covers that sharp edge. Yeah, slices with ease. Very sharp, no edge deformation at all. You can choke up, carve with it. Obviously this is just pulling the bark off. This is not really feather sticking, but it's a similar idea. This is just green bark from a young sapling right now, but I am noticing getting a little bit of a hot spot on that forward. No, it's not exactly a ricasso, but and I think it has to do with the size of the grip. I have to over grip and grip very tightly to make up for that thin walnut scaled handle. But overall, it feels really good. Very fast, very sharp. Okay, so in terms of whittling and smaller tasks, I use almost a pinch grip and my thumb on the top edge of that grip or that scale to do very controlled tasks toward me. Alternatively, I can pinch up in here and get some of those finer details. And what I use is a grip, and I use my thumb to push it. I can navigate around most anything with the point if necessary. All the way up the blades, very thin and slicey. No deformation on the blade, still very sharp. Now this is obviously green wood. Very easy to manipulate that. Let's see about carving it into a point here. Ooh, right into a knot. Now it is a longer blade. It takes a great deal of wrist and forearm strength to do it one-handed. It might be something you kind of pull back on and again use that point. Alternatively, you could put it down or put it against something else and whittle that into a point. But not bad. So what we're seeing is the BeaverCraft KKR1 is performing really well with obviously some green wood. It is a longer blade meant for chopping. It's tiring holding it and trying to navigate and work with some smaller pieces. Feather sticks, again, because that's a slow action. It should be good with feather sticks. Let's see if I can find something worthy of feather sticking. This is definitely, it's probably not going to feather up very well because it is so dry. Yeah, this is some old ash. It's very dry and brittle. Still very slicey. Edge is perfect still. So that's good. That's good to see. And again, back in the sheath. Kind of top down, slide it in. 2 snaps to close. Just like that. We had talked about in my first video how if it was a right-handed carry, when you undo it, it's kind of coming out blade forward, requiring you to switch grips. Not sure how many actions require you to have a grip like this, but then blade away, back into its sheath. If you wanted to left-hand carry, then obviously the blade comes out very proper. But for the right-handed users out there, you have limited options with how to carry that other than carrying it in reverse. So that's the Kukri KKR1 Varusteleka. You can actually purchase the sheath in a right or left-handed carry, snap to lock, and again, sitting down, either cants out in front, cants behind, little thumb ramp to pull it out. And again, you have that ability, the overmolded grip, very, very hand filling, and you can feel, you can choke right up with the Varusteleka. And it just feels like I have more power, more control. Blades are both equally sharp. And again, with this really dry, rotten wood, curls are not an option for that. But super fast, nimble. This tree needs to be pruned up anyways. Some more of this kind of wild grapevine. Very, very sharp, very easy. Again, another piece of, this is maple, hard maple, two-handed option, for example. Hold back. And again, no edge deformation, still super, super sharp. Okay, let's go find something else to cut. Okay, it has been a day since I've been back into my shelter here. Oh. Lots of down kindling for sure. It is buried in snow. It's mid-March here in southern Ontario, and in places we still have 1 and 2 feet of snow in the flats. So I'm coming up on my shelter. Let's just see what it looks like. It's in rough shape. I honestly haven't been back here for a couple of years. This is where my fire pit goes out in front. I suppose it could be worse. This is very late in the day, not too much sunlight left. But this is it. Lots of snow, lots of ice still to melt. Would be a very chilly night. Oh, look at there, one of those things. Come on. Oh, it's frozen up too. All right. Okay, so Varusteleka Skrama and BeaverCraft Kukri. All right, let's find a spot and maybe I'll give you a little tour here. All right, this was a project my boys and I started years ago, and we built it through some living trees. I think those are walnut, actually. And then we had a bunch of leftover, almost like nylon binder twine, because I knew it was going to be left out here in the elements. Didn't want it to rot. We've got quite a snow load on top. We can see things flexing a little bit. 2 tarps, some pressure fit logs sandwiched there on either side to create an end wall. And this job this year is to fill that in with more of a back wall. I'm glad those supports are there because that's helping the water drain off. Raised bed, all with kind of mortise and tenon joints. Inside a little table workbench and 2 tarps helping keep the water off. I think we got the original one buried underneath and then everything else on top. Nice extension out over the fire pit. We thought that was going to be, I mean, if it is going to be raining that hard, we're not having a fire, but it's back far enough that the smoke won't get trapped inside, but out far enough that it provides a little extra cover. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Stayed in there a number of times. This is actually where I had my my super shelter video, and I'll provide a link up in the card up top. There we go. In need of repair, but it was definitely a fun project back in the day, for sure. I always want to come back and double check that the string is not binding into these young trees, which are still growing. So you can see here, it's creased into the bark ever so slightly. So to avoid killing the tree, I'm going to cut those off and reattach them. Keep the tree alive, which is functional to our shelter. Here's the back end here, and they've been all lashed together. So it's a little rough. These could be all trimmed up nice if I really wanted to, but and then that's obviously there's where we have our fire pit. All around us, down over here is old swamp, so it tends to be pretty buggy later in the season. And another marsh over in there. That's where we harvest a lot of our cattails. And then obviously a ridge taking us up to the top where this is all a nice cedar swamp, so lots of kindling and tinder, but I try to move around so I'm not just taking off the sticks off the bottom of the trees, make it look some of these campsites that are all kind of harvested off by the public, just taking branches off trees, which is not okay. So that's a quick look around. Let's get turned around here and I'll give you my final thoughts on these 2 cutting tools, which are pretty awesome. They're both pretty awesome. I think they both have their place, but let's give you some final thoughts. Oh, that's great. Perfect ray of sunshine coming through the trees. All right, so the Varusteleka Skrama 240. Very, very powerful, shop, dependable, durable chopper. Okay, we talked about the point, the edge geometry. Again, really tall, scanty / saber grind, about a 32 degree bevel on the kind of the front 6, 7, 8 inches, and then that 25 degrees on this back 2 inches. Very formidable. And again, we in my demonstration I had that fire steel. I'll see if I can grab one quickly. Do I have a fire steel handy? Obviously buried. Okay. One of my favorite fire steels. I really have to find the name of it. This one. What I did with this, I drilled it out and put a key ring on there, and then just drilled out a whole piece of fat wood. So that's been really good. Maybe we can see if this actually does throw sparks into the fat wood. Okay, why don't we do that? Let's spin around and get a close-up on the table here and throw some sparks. So this is the, obviously we talked about this, the BeaverCraft KKR1. We talked about how the spine feels super sharp. Let's see if it'll scrape. Let's definitely get some off there. There we go. Very waxy fat wood, very waxy. All kinds of resins in there. See if we can pull it into a bit of a pile. And let's try this striker. I haven't done that with this one. It feels like it's going to go. I'm going to hold the kukri down and give it another pull. Here we go. So yes, it will also strike. You can grind the magnesium from the end too. With this one, I really felt the need to, rather than put my thumb at the top and push it, I really felt the need to stabilize it with a full pistol grip and give that, and I think it's because the grip is a little on the slender side for my big hands. So I had to turn the blade 90 degrees, hold it very tightly, and then I was able to throw it, without too much problem. All right, let's put these away and have a final review. Well, that's beautiful sun coming through there for sure. All right, our final review of the Varusteleka Skrama. If I was to compare, let's just judge it on its own merits by itself. I think this one will, because of the size of the grip for my hands, the two-handed ability, the very balanced nature of it, the thickness of the steel in the front, which really drives that chopping motion, that splitting action, the variegated cutting edge. It's just a really nice one-tool option. And for that reason, I am giving that one, in its early reviews, probably a 10 out of 10. But for each tool, they have to have a specific purpose, and how you're going to use this will judge whether this is the tool for you or not. It is heavy, okay? It is a chunk of steel for sure, and I really like how it comes with the variable sheath options, where you can also get just the inside plastic liner if you're the type of person that is in an environment where obviously keeping leather from going mildewy, etc., is a concern. So for that reason, I'm really loving the BeaverCraft Skrama I'm going to give it certainly a 10 out of 10 for its future in my kit for sure. KKR1, obviously it's different. It's lighter, it's faster. If you were in a very kind of jungle, a lot of greenery, not as much in the sense of hardwoods, this would be definitely sufficient. I think, again, with that full leather cowhide sheath, it's a premium sheath. I'd hate to see it kind of get moldy in any kind of a damp environment, prolonged damp environment. And but certainly adequate. I like the thinness of this, which lends itself to that, to be very, very speedy. I've got a very kind of thick hand, and I know the grip is on the really rectangular, kind of narrow side for my hands. So I've got an oversized kind of a X, 2XL hand. And I know that feels good, but I'm always trying to navigate where the best fit is. Certainly with gloves on, I wouldn't feel these two kind of like this ramp on the top and beak on the back end, albeit the lanyard loop is super nice. And I know why it's there, but it's just something that in the bare hands, that would definitely need to be contoured with a file, sandpaper, something like that. Okay. Both retain very good sharpness. So if I were if I was processing things that were a lot of green vegetation, this would be a very, very good option because of its weight and its speed and its sliciness, if you want to call it. If you're into something requiring a little more weight forward, being a chopper, mixed hardwoods, softwoods, the Varusteleka Skrama may be your better option. So, environments again, plastic sheath, complement, leather sheath only. That can be a deciding factor for some people. And again, this is only, to my knowledge, left-handed carry. Price-wise, they do vary. I will say the BeaverCraft KKR1 is a little cheaper than the Skrama, but the Skrama is obviously sometimes, as we know, we get what we pay for. So, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to fire up some dinner here and have a snack before I head home and the sun goes down. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share. Check out these videos here, and we'll see you in the next one coming very soon. Enjoy your outdoors. Bye for now.